Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC. Aston Villa 4, Newcastle United 1. It is yet again another massive win at Villa Park for Aston Villa. It is now 5 wins in a row in the Premier League, and they end what is quite an incredible winning run for Newcastle. You can see here that is the first Newcastle defeat in the Premier League in quite some time, but they still sit in third place on 59 points. Man City, we'll talk about them later in this video. A great away win at Everton today, 2-0 with late goals from Nico O'Reilly and ex-Chelsea player Mateo Kovacic. It's the theme of the day today. Nottingham Forest are now 5th in the Premier League with back-to-back defeats. They play again later this weekend with 57. Villa now 57 points. And we've got to talk today about quite how remarkable that performance was, because Newcastle United going into this game, they are the informed team. I thought that this was going to be a high-scoring match. I was actually just one tackle from Boubacar Kamara away from winning a solid 180-1 bet, but we won't talk about that for now. Aston Villa were absolutely superb, and let's take a little look at the overall match, because Ollie Watkins is back in the starting 11 today. And this is a big goal. It's not only a big goal because he scores in the first minute. That's me stating the obvious. But it's the way that Ollie Watkins scores this. He gets the ball out of his feet and he just hits it early. At that point in the game, I don't think the Newcastle defenders were expecting Ollie Watkins to shoot. It takes a big deflection. It goes in. And what you've done there is you've basically just stirred an already simmering, brewing pot. Villa Park against PSG, it was electric. They were unlucky. They did go out, but still, the atmosphere there in the midweek Champions League game was on fire. That is an Aston Villa crowd that look at that team and they're like, you know what? This is something massive to get behind. And today, I've got to talk about Morgan Rogers, because right now, is there a better player in the league in the half spaces? When he's got the ball on the turn, on the swivel, what he does, Morgan Rogers, he is absolutely superb. And I think when we're talking about this Aston Villa team, let me just zoom in on it for a second and get it so it's a bit bigger for you guys on the screen. This is a team that has got quality all over the field. Ian Maatsen today. In terms of the saves, let's take a little look at the overall stats before we actually break down. 5 big chances for Aston Villa, 2 for Newcastle United, more than double expected goals despite Newcastle having the possession. 2 saves for Martinez, 6 for Nick Pope. And this is something we were talking on Tuesday night about Donnarumma making so many saves to deny this Aston Villa team, because you have got players in this side that can hurt you from anywhere. Ollie Watkins with the early goal, massive for him, back in the starting 11. Fabian Schar then equalises for Newcastle. And you can see Aston Villa weren't really conceding too many chances to Newcastle in this game, but they get the equaliser. And then we go in at half-time, and I'm thinking, well, is this the game where, obviously, for Chelsea, I don't know what's good for us anymore, because if we take a look at that table again, it doesn't look pretty for us at all. Chelsea is 7th in the Premier League now, but it's all right, guys. Maresca, he keeps on reminding us we've been around the top 4 all season. Bloody hell. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Chelsea today. We're here to talk about another former Chelsea player on the score sheet. We saw Kovacic for Man City, but Ian Maatsen today was absolutely brilliant. Let me just make this again so that you guys can see Ian Maatsen's stats here today. 90 minutes played. He gets himself a goal. 7 out of 10 ground duels won. I remember there was a time when I watched Ian Maatsen at Chelsea and I was like, is he a bit small? The answer is absolutely not. 82% accurate passes, 84 touches of the ball, 1 out of 3 successful dribbles, but he gets into the space and he makes it 2-1 to Aston Villa. And I think right now what you've got with Villa Park, I keep bringing up the fans, but when they're seeing their team put in the effort that they are today, I thought Boubacar Kamara was absolutely incredible. A man who has been on the tip of our tongue here on More GBFC for weeks now. Youri Tielemans, again, just brilliant. And then when that goal goes in, Dan Burn, I thought it was actually Tielemans that scored it, but it doesn't touch him. Hits Dan Burn. That is game over, because immediately again, Onana, who'd just come on the pitch at the time, makes it 4-1 to Aston Villa, and that is Newcastle finished, as the word says there. But all in all today, this performance from Aston Villa is a statement when it comes to that race for the Premier League top 5 this season. And when I look at it now, right, you've got to think, if we bring that Premier League table back up again, you've got to look at this and think, well, Forest have lost 2 in a row. Chelsea have won 1 of their last 4 matches. I don't think Chelsea are beating Fulham tomorrow. I think this could now look like Newcastle, Man City and Aston Villa who are going to get those 5 Champions League places, because Aston Villa, if we take a look at their home form this season, they've only lost once at home. Fortunately for everyone else, they've only got 2 more matches at Villa Park. But this place is an absolute fortress. And again, credit to Unai Emery. But I've got to focus on Morgan Rogers, because as I said a little earlier in this video, I think right now, the breakthrough that this man has had this season has been absolutely sensational. You can see that it's kind of this area of the pitch here where if you can have someone who is able to get the ball on the turn and drive whenever he gets it in these positions, no wonder, again, when you've got a striker like Ollie Watkins, you've got players that are always going to drive forward and be a threat in the final third, like your Asensios and McGinn again today. After such a big performance against PSG, I thought John McGinn was class as well. But when you look at these numbers, Morgan Rogers, 90% accurate passes, 3 out of 3 dribbles attempted, 4 out of 5 ground duels. He is just so good in this little pocket of space. And I think when I watch Rogers week in, week out, whether it is in the Champions League, scoring goals in Paris, or in the Premier League, not only is he always a threat looking to go forward, but it's the turn. It's how he can receive the ball with his back to goal and then he turns and then he's gone. And Aston Villa are reaping the rewards of having a manager that is able to play him out wide. But again, you see the positions he drifts into. He's playing on the right side of this midfield today for Aston Villa, but the majority of the game, he's going in over towards that left side to play in this half space. It was absolutely brilliant. And again, tactically, look at the average positions of Morgan Rogers in the middle of the park, dictating the tempo of how they get forward alongside Youri Tielemans, who again was absolutely everywhere. Ollie Watkins gets man of the match, but it's these two, Youri Tielemans and Morgan Rogers. They are going to fire Aston Villa to the Champions League. And I don't know what that leaves for Chelsea Football Club, because look, I made a great, well, I say a great video, calling my own videos great here, but I made a video talking about Newcastle, talking about Jacob Murphy only yesterday. And he didn't have a great game today, but Newcastle in overall were just played off the park. The way that Unai Emery has managed to completely nullify Bruno, Sandro, Joelinton with that midfield from Aston Villa. Absolutely brilliant management again. And I think overall, when you look at this momentum chart here in the second half, Aston Villa just on fire. And I want to know from you lot in the comments, can anyone stop this Aston Villa team? They've got 2 more matches at home. I think they'll win those. And they go to Manchester City in midweek. And City today, this is a big, big win because they've gone to Everton. Difficult place to go. You can see this. Like, I watched the game. It was pretty trash. Everton didn't offer very much whatsoever. Man City had moments, but then look at this dominance towards the end of that first half from Manchester City. And as you do, when you're a top side, you get rewarded in the end with 2 goals. Nico O'Reilly, man of the match performance at left back again. Remember, this kid isn't a left back. Pep's using him there right now, and it's working. And then Kovacic, who came off the bench and sealed the deal in the 92nd minute. A massive win for Man City, who again aren't playing amazing football, but they now have found themselves in 4th. And this is only the home record. So yeah, Man City are 4th. Newcastle in 3rd. Aston Villa 6th. But look how close this is in the race for the top 4. Is there even a world where Arsenal, who are going to be focused on PSG in the Champions League, could Arsenal be dragged into this? I think that is a little bit too far out with only 6 matches left for them to play. I think Arsenal get enough points. But Newcastle 59, Man City 58, Forest 57, Villa 57, Chelsea 54. Based on the way that Chelsea are playing right now, I can't see us getting more points. I can't see us going to Newcastle, even after Newcastle were battered today by an unstoppable Aston Villa. I just don't see Chelsea getting enough points. I don't see us going to Newcastle and winning. And when it comes to Forest as well, do they have the legs to stay? I asked that question a couple of weeks ago, and it's a massive must-win game for them this week in the Premier League as well. Let me know your thoughts on Aston Villa. For me, that is the best home league performance of theirs this season. To do that straight off the back of that positive performance and result against PSG, an incredible comeback, despite going out, that is a serious sign of a serious team that is managed so well and with players all over the field to bring it up one last time. These Aston Villa players are just all brilliant. The centre-backs, not the highest rating, but it's all about the dominance and ownership in that midfield of Kamara, Tielemans, and then the attacking threat of these guys is simply brilliant. And the bench for Aston Villa, at this stage of the season, you need legs, you need energy. If you look at this bench again, bringing on Donyell Marlin, Marcus Rashford, Onana, who scored literally 3 minutes after coming on a wonder goal. Seriously concerning for Chelsea fans. Let me know your thoughts if you're a Villa fan. Is this just like a bad game for Newcastle, or have you just come up against a sick team? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. And by the way, check out the video from earlier today because it's a cool little match vlog in Thailand for the two best teams for a Thai derby. I'll see you there.